in terms of every time you're looking at a tier, emptier. Yeah, have a close look at the PML and then the scallops and then the indentations and a lot of calcification also. So that's where the PML is going to be very important. And of course the chordae, I think we all know, so this is where things can go wrong if you're too much into the chordae and then you can always get caught in the chordae or a chordal rupture can happen. So just understanding how the anatomy and a closer look at the leaflet themselves. So you have the AML. So the AML predominantly doesn't have much of the chordae over here, and this is known as a clear zone. And usually at the A2 and P2 you have very less chordae, and this is the sweet spot where the fetus here. This is the best anatomical lesion which you can get to go for a straightforward clip. Anything beyond this, as you go a little further towards the commissure, you start to get more and more chordae. And as you can see here, PML has got more chordae. So this is again looking at the transesophageal road. And then if you look at the AMLs, this is the clear zone, so not many chordae over there. And of course, there are commissure chordae also. So the more medial and more lateral you go towards the commissures, you have a lot of chordae. So you have to be aware of that also. And when it comes to the mitral valve, it's not just the leaflets and chordae, we are also looking at the two chambers, so the left atrium and the left ventricle, they have their own impact on how the MR happens in terms of mechanism. And then just a slide about the dynamics of the annulus itself. So there's a lot of annuloplasty effect when the clip is put in place. It brings the annulus on the either side closer, and this helps to a large extent. Unlike a surgical repair with a ring, it doesn't have that amount of annuloplasty, but here it's an actual annuloplasty, and that is again the dynamics of the and the shape of the annulus also matter. And then this you can actually look later, pre-clip and post-clip. You'll see that the way the annulus shape changes, so that also is something very nice about the cure. And coming to the MR itself, so you have the mechanism. So first and foremost is understanding any MR, what is the mechanism? That's the first thing. And then it is severity. So here the mechanism can be primary MR, wherein we have the leaflets in terms of a clear or an MVP, and then you have the secondary MRs where you have a problem upstream or downstream, either the left ventricle or the left atrium is involved. And looking at the MR very closely, so where is the MR coming from? So it is ideally, as I said earlier, so is it from A to P2, that's the ideal location. And if there are multiple jets, where they are coming from, which is the main culprit jet, so that is the localization that needs to be done. And typically in transthoracic, you use a short axis. To a large extent, you can get some information, but the clarity usually comes from transesophageal echo, and that is where the T really helps. And when it comes to MR assessment of severity, you have these standard parameters which you have to go through, and this has come from the Everest data, and there are about 10, 12 typical MR parameters, but the one which is commonly recommended and suggested is to use the vena contracta. And when you're using the vena contracta, it has to be in two views, so always make sure, because the orifice may have a oval shape, and then if you check in one view, you may not get the ideal vena contracta. So the recommendation is always to have two views, and if you have a biplane probe, a 3D probe, you can get a biplane view, and that makes it even better. So then you can understand what the anatomical orifice is. That's what the vena contracta is about. It's a functional reflection of what the anatomical orifice is. And then the PISA itself is quite a tough one, so not so easy. So the low-hanging one is just to look at the PISA radius and how much the PISA is, and then if the PISA is there,